Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 5 of Equality and Diversity. And today I have the amazing Priscilla here today to explain what she does in the creative entertainment industries. So Priscilla, would you like to introduce yourself and tell the audience a little bit about what you do?
Sure, thanks, Saskia. So I'm Priscilla. I'm a freelance marketing manager, and I'm also creating my own startup, which is a marketplace for minority-owned businesses here in the UK.
Amazing. Do you want to go into a little bit more detail about where you're from and your kind of background?
Yeah, so I'm from Indonesia. I was born and raised there, moved to the UK when I was 8 with my family, and I've been here ever since.
Amazing. So what's it kind of like being kind of from an Asian culture and being a woman in the industry? What kind of challenges do you find that brings with it?
Yeah, so I mean, my background is, well, my degree is in fashion promotion. So it's not hard as a woman to kind of be in that industry because there is a lot of us. And I know when I was at university, there's the ratio of like male, well, or female to male is definitely like always over. Yeah. But as a person of color, I think there is some sort of barrier in terms of the opportunities we get. And I guess this isn't, I mean, I don't really know what it is, but yeah, people, I guess, Asian women in the industry, especially in the entertainment industry and the film industry, we're not very well represented. And I think it's just beginning to sort of get there, but there's always going to be work that needs to be done. And I know Disney's been really trying to diversify their sort of characters and like films, which is great to see. But sometimes it's more of us getting like simplified in terms of how can we be diverse but also hit like a lot of these ethnicities all at the same time. And it's not that, because from one country to another, even if it's in the Southeast Asia vicinity, there is still some differences, though there are a lot of similarities. And as for myself, personally, like I've I'm sort of competing, but I don't want to look like I'm competing with other people in the race. Yeah, you know what I mean? And I think a lot of it is to do with connections. And so, um, as long as you're well connected with people in the industry, then you have a foot in. But that also comes at, a privilege, and who you surround yourself with and your background and that kind of thing.
That's a great point. So tell us a little bit about your background and tell us like a little bit more about your history and what you've done in the past and your kind of educational background. So tell us a bit more about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I always say to people like, if I had not moved to the UK, I don't think I'd be doing what I'm doing now. And I know a lot of Asian countries tend to focus on the traditional route of like, oh, you need to become a doctor or an engineer or like, a lawyer, just so that there is that financial stability.
Yeah.
But my parents my dad especially, have always told me, it doesn't matter what you do as long as you're successful at it. And I'm like, I don't know what success means. but that was really encouraging, because I know a lot of parents don't always want their kids to do whatever they want. And so I went to school, did GCSEs and stuff, and found that I was good at textiles, and that's where I started exploring, oh, maybe I could be in the fashion industry.
Amazing.
I love drawing. I've been drawing since, like obviously at the start of time, but like yeah. And I think the most important thing for me to be able to pursue a creative career was the teachers that actually encouraged me and complimented my work. And they would say like, oh, Priscilla, well done, like I love the way you do this. And I'm like, oh, that's great, like I have a strength to fall back on. And so it was those teachers in primary school that really encouraged me to keep going in my creativity. And that resulted in me pursuing, fashion at first, thinking that I wanted to be a designer, but I didn't like sewing or the more technical side of design. I love, illustrating and designing on paper, but other things, I was like, I just leave it to someone else. So that's why I did fashion promotion, because like I get to explore different mediums and seeing what works in terms of storytelling. And I think storytelling is so important in any sort of industry that you're in, especially in the creative industry. And one of my tutors when I was doing art foundation at Arts University Bournemouth was she told me, look, your background, like you're way ahead of everyone else, because you have something that they don't. And most of the people in my group for the fashion and textiles sort of pathway were mostly white. And so she told me, like, look, you've got this that these people don't have, so make sure you make the most of it. And I've always put that in my thoughts and be like, okay, well, what can I do to express myself and to let other people know about where I come from, because that is also important. And my dad always says, like, don't forget where you come from. And to this day, I still haven't got a British passport.
That's beautiful, though, how you kind of brought that out in your work and your creativity. I think that's amazing. And some of the things you've shared with us in this talk, it's just been really inspirational to hear that, and how beautiful, like, to feel empowered by people at such a young age. And that's kind of you carry on. I think that's kind of similar a little bit to my own kind of journey, in a way, where I felt that I was encouraged to do something I was good at, and that's kind of, I've stuck with it because I enjoyed it. And I think that's definitely something that the viewers could kind of get, is if you feel a passion for something, you really enjoy it, then stick at it, because I think that's definitely, something that's worth doing.
Sorry, my mom just came. I think it's really hard to know as a young person, like, what you want to do in life. And I think the education system kind of, I guess, puts us under pressure to actually know, okay, well, for your GCSEs, what kind of subjects you want to do, and then, like, for your A levels, like, what for 3 or 4 subjects that you want to continue, and then you have to choose a course that hopefully you'd like by the end of the 3 or 4 years. But a lot of people that I know, they don't tend to use their degrees for their future jobs. And so in my mind, I'm like, I wouldn't want to be spending or investing a lot of money in something that I'm not going to use in the future. And I think, as important as education is, it's more important to actually find out, like, what it is that you're passionate about and how you can turn that or monetize that, even though that is probably the hardest, like, way to go about your career. But you feel so much more passionate and so much more determined and motivated to do what you do every day.
I think that's definitely a great thing to share. And tell us a little bit about your project that you've got at the moment that you run, because I know you run your own little kind of project. So tell the viewers a little bit more about that. What's that about?
So the startup that I'm doing, it actually came about around November 2020. So during lockdown, and the whole BLM movement and Asian hate from COVID, that put a fire in me to be like, okay, well, I want to do more for my community and also those in the ethnic minority groups. And I know there is a lot of support for Black-owned businesses, and but I haven't seen one that's specifically for, like, Asians or other minority groups. And I thought, well, why are we just singling out one minority group? And I'm not saying this because but, like, I'm saying it, well, why don't we just be inclusive of all of these minority groups rather than just singling it out? Because you're, like, the person who, I could be, one of those people looking at the opportunities on their website and be like, oh, I don't qualify because I'm not Black. And I just want to be able to be inclusive of everyone. And yeah, and just speaking to lots of different people and lots of different founders, and sorry, and feel like, well, you don't have to go into the traditional route of university and then getting a job. Like, you can do what you like, and if you don't know where to start, like, we can be your first point of contact in terms of connections, and like, oh, how do you start a business and that kind of thing. And then more into the storytelling side of it, I am also looking into promoting these people, and telling their stories, like through film or through moving image, and just making it into this beautiful way, capturing their stories in a beautiful way that's like kind of a documentary, but not so much of a documentary, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's what I'm working on right now.
Wow, that sounds amazing. Do you want to tell the viewers a little bit what's the group called, or how can they find you, or how can they connect with you on any social media platforms?
Sure. So it's called ARAH, ARAH, and we have a website that is still in the works, so you might not see anything on there, but it's arah.club, and that's also our handle on Instagram, so you can add us on there, and we can also get you on a mailing list. You can email us hello@arah.club. And yeah, we're looking for anyone who's interested in kind of being in the community. Will help you in any way. And if you ever want to become allies as well, that's really important, to support us in our work, and seeing whether you can help these founders and creatives to, in their journeys.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. So if anyone wants to get in touch, please contact Priscilla directly through the website, and I'm sure through the Instagram, and I'm sure the website will be up and running soon.
Yeah.
Do people have to be educated? Do they have to be at kind of educational level to contact you, or is that literally any level? Can anyone do that?
Any level. I mean, if you've got an idea and you're like, you don't know where to start, like, we are pretty much the perfect people to go to, because we do have the connections. And yeah.
That sounds exciting. So if there's anything you could kind of give back to the younger generations, what would your kind of tips and hints be to someone maybe 5 or 6 years behind you and they want to kind of access the creative industries? What kind of tips and hints would you give them?
I would say definitely put your foot into networking. Like, that's something that I was like, I knew that I had to do, and I started doing it when I was at university. But I mean, if you know which kind of creative route that you want to go into, I would be like, yeah, get on LinkedIn and see the sort of people that you want to be connected to. It doesn't hurt to even try messaging them and be like, hey, I'm looking into getting a career in this industry. Like, would you be able to help me or give me advice? That's already, a stepping stone. Like, you'd be ahead of your classmates or whatever. And so, yeah, don't be afraid to reach out, because you never know what these connections will do and what opportunities may lie in the future. And just start working, like, even if it's really rubbish, like, your talent is something that you have to hone every day and every time, and you can only be so great at one thing if you put in the work. And so keep putting in the work and keep working at it, and getting feedback, asking for feedback. And if you have someone that has done it all in life in terms of career, then ask them if they could be your mentor, and yeah, they will put you into the right direction, in the right path.
Definitely really good advice that you've given there, Priscilla. Thank you so much. And I just want to thank you for your time today and your great insight and your inspiration, and just for you being you and being such an amazing role model. So thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And I'm wishing you all the success for the future. I'm sure you're going to have great successes, and I'm sure I'm going to speak to you again soon. So
no, definitely. Thank you so much for having me.
Total pleasure. I hope you have a good afternoon.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.